Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Into Suffolk webinar series for spring 2022. This presentation is designed specifically for our Chinese students and will be presented in both English and Chinese.
嗨，大家好，欢迎来到我们的萨福克欢迎会。在这欢迎会，我们会学到很多关于开学的信息。我是来自萨福克的英。
Our presentation today will include quite a lot of very important and fun information for our new students. We'll talk about some wonderful things that exist in Boston that you can take advantage of as a new student, as well as very important reminders for our spring 2022 orientation.
在这欢迎会里面，你会学到很多关于为什么会选择萨福克作为你的学校，还有为什么会选择波士顿呢？也会有一些重要的提示，关于你如何进行开学。
So we also wanted to make sure you knew who the presenters were, so we wanted to introduce ourselves. My name is Sophie Wilson. I serve as the Director of Student Experience, which means that you'll get to see me a lot as my team helps organize both the arrival and orientation experience. I'm also here with one of our graduate students, and I'll let her introduce herself as well.
Sophie 是我们学校的主任，所以你经常会见到他。我是来自萨福克的一名研究生，我的专业是营销专业。
So before we get started into our presentation, there is a very important reminder that I want to make sure that all new students are aware of. The US requires that all individuals entering the country must be vaccinated for COVID-19. So once again, you must be fully vaccinated for COVID-19 in order to enter the United States. If you are not vaccinated, please contact us and we can help you with that vaccination process.
我们对于入境的要求是每一个人都需要有打了疫苗，而且是全部完成疫苗针线。如果你没有完成，并且对于如何上传你的疫苗证件，可以联系我们，我们会教你如何去上传你的证件。
So I wanted to also spend some time to introduce you to Boston. I know some of you may have never traveled to the US, and so I wanted to share some wonderful opportunities that you can take advantage of while studying at Into Suffolk. The first is the location. So Boston is ranked the #1 student city in the US, so it is a great environment for education. Boston also has lots of fun social and academic opportunities, and of course, many career and job opportunities as well, which we'll talk about later in the presentation.
波士顿是出了名的学都，是在美国排行榜是第1的。然后波士顿有很多工作机会，这意味着你在那里读书，毕业后你将会有更多的实习机会。我们将在演讲的后面会提到如何获取这些机会。
Boston is an excellent location for students of all majors. So regardless of what you're studying, whether it's biotech, finances, political science, media, marketing, or business, there are lots of Fortune 500 companies located in the city, as well as a lot of internship and practicum experiences that you could take advantage of.
波士顿是医疗非常出名的，也是个金融之都。我们在这里也有很多生物方面的科技公司，著名的政府也会坐落在波士顿。这里也有很多可逛街的地方，这意味着你可以买到很多衣服呀，都非常时尚。然后这里还有财富500强公司坐落在这里，这里还有很多实习机会。
In order to get connected with those opportunities, we also have a career services office on our campus. This office hosts a number of free events throughout the year, including job and internship fairs, one-on-one consultations where they can help you build your resume, cover letter, and prepare for interviews, including negotiating salaries. And beyond those services, they also have a special department in career services designed to help international students.
我们学校会提供一些免费的职业培训，比如说工作和实习事件，还有工作如何去搜索，还有如何去讨论你的工资，还有一些招聘会、实习会。我们还有特殊部门可以帮助你如何写一个专业的工作经历。还有一些长野搜索，还有1对1职业培训。
For those of you that also have not been able to travel yet to Boston, I also wanted to share some information about the safety and security in our city. Boston is home to the #1 research hospital in the United States, and that hospital is Massachusetts General Hospital, which is located a short 20-minute walk from campus. Our university also has an on-campus health office with physicians and counselors where students can go if they're feeling unwell. We also have a mobile safety app and 24/7 campus security.
波士顿是美国搜索医院的最出名的地方，然后我们学校附近也有一个很著名的医院，仅距离我们学校10分钟路程。我们学校也会有卫生室，如果你感到不舒适，可以随时去访问。我们也有一些安全应用软件在手机24小时服务。
Beyond the safety and security, we also have a lot of entertainment, art, and social opportunities for students. Boston is known for being a very fun city, especially for our students. So we have a number of very delicious restaurants and dining options. In fact, our university is right next to our Chinatown district. We also have some beautiful art galleries. We are next to the Atlantic Ocean, so you can go to the beach easily by train. If you love sports, whether that be basketball, football, or hockey, we do have some of the top sports teams in the US in our city, as well as, of course, some very well-known museums and countless free activities throughout the year, specifically designed for students.
波士顿是出了名的很丰富的都市，在这里你可以找到很多美味的餐厅，也有画廊，也靠近大自然和一些海岸，你可以很轻易的去坐火车就到达了。如果你喜欢运动，那么在这里会找到很多出名的 NBA 球队，还有一些美式足球。我们当然也有很多流行的博物馆，这里是都非常出名，还有一些免费的专门为学生而设定的活动。
So we've talked a bit about what to expect when you move to Boston and what fun opportunities to take advantage of. But I also wanted to spend some time to prepare you for your arrival and orientation experience. All new students are recommended to fly into Boston through the Boston Logan Airport, which is also known as BOS. All new students will also have access to a phone number called our arrivals phone. So if you have questions while you're packing in your home country, while you're flying, and when you arrive, you can call this phone number at any point, and I'll actually be the one to pick up and help you with your questions. We also offer a free airport pickup service from Boston Logan Airport. So someone will be there to meet you when you get off the plane. In order to request this airport greeter service, you must complete our airport arrival form. This form link will be emailed to you in your weekly pre-arrival emails.
你的到达对我们来说是非常重要的，我们都推荐你直接直达罗根机场。如果你需要任何到达服务，请联系我们，我们的电话将发到你的邮箱中 ，Sophie 将会解答你的所有问题。如果你需要更多的到达服务，请必须完成那个飞机到达表格，这已经发到你的邮箱中。
For students that are living on campus, meaning that you are living in one of our resident halls, for example, this is a picture of 1 Court Street, your move-in date is January 10th. Unfortunately, you are not allowed to move in before January 10th. So if you arrive early, you must find your own hotel accommodations. All of our resident halls are located within a 5-minute walk of our main campus buildings. They are all furnished, which means they come with a bed, desk, chair, and dresser. You'll also get a goodie bag called our welcome bag when you move in. That will have bedding, towels, and a laundry hamper. This means that you do not need to pack a pillow or blanket with you. It will be there when you move in. You'll also be able to participate in weekly COVID-19 testing for free. And if you have dietary needs, we also have a nutritionist on campus, as well as offering halal and kosher meals.
如果你是在校生、在校住宿生，那么你的入住日将是1月10号。很可惜，我们并不接受提前入住，所以如果你到达日是在1月10号之前，你需要自己联系酒店。这是我们图片中的建筑，就是为我们宿舍楼的之一，仅距离我们的教学楼5分钟路程。这些住宿全都是包家居，并且包床上用品，所以你不必要去买一个枕头或是被子。我们也会有欢迎包裹赠送给所有在校住宿生，然后我们还提供清真和犹太的一些特殊美食。我们每周还会做一些 COVID-19 的测试。
If you are living off campus, meaning you are not living in a resident hall, we also offer one-on-one housing support to identify an off-campus apartment or house. This support means that you'd be able to have a Zoom call with me again, and I'll be able to help you get access and learn how to use our Suffolk off-campus housing portal, which lists hundreds of apartments and is a great opportunity to find a roommate if you are interested in living with other students.
如果你不是在校住宿生，我们也会提供一些校外的住宿服务。如果你需要任何帮助，请联系 Sophie， 她会给你提供1对1服务。
Other important deadlines and dates to remember is that our Into Suffolk Spring orientation will be from January 11th to January 14th. Orientation is required. This means that you must attend orientation during these dates. Orientation is a time where we will provide information about student support, such as housing, arrival, careers, your classes, and it's an opportunity to meet all of the students you'll have classes with and your teachers. Additionally, if you need support before orientation, for example, you are currently accessing counseling services, or you have a documented disability, such as ADHD, or you're visually impaired, please let me know earlier so we can make sure that you still have access to these services during orientation, and while you are a student at Suffolk University.
这些是我们最重要的一些截止日通知。我们有一个开学日，是1月11号到14号，这是要求每个学生都要参加。然后我们在这个欢迎会会提供一些的上课信息、课程信息，还有你的住宿、实习机会，还有你的社交网，还有活动。如果你是身体不适需要我们的特殊服务，请及时联系，我们将确保你能够在欢迎会和在校时间得到最好的服务。
Another resource I wanted to share is our Into Suffolk student website. This website link will be shared with you as part of your weekly emails that you'll be receiving from us to prepare you for our spring 2022 orientation. This website has everything that you need to know about as a new student, including our new students section. You are required to log into the website and complete all the steps. There's a picture of those steps on this slide in that new student section before orientation.
这些网站是需要你们点进去完成所有步骤的，所以在开学日之前，希望你们都能够完成。如果遇到任何问题，请持续联系。
Part of the new student steps includes immunizations. The state of Massachusetts requires all university students to submit their health immunizations before they start their program. So this is a law in our state that we must follow. What this means for you is that you must submit your immunization record. The record must be in English, and this must be submitted before you arrive or during orientation.
美国要求我们每一个学生都必须有疫苗，都打完所有疫苗。你的疫苗证件必须是英文，且上传到我们的校园系统。我们的疫苗必须在你的课程开始之前，或是开学日之间完成。
Additionally, all students must complete all their financial payments by December 14th. If you have any questions, you can contact our Suffolk admissions team and they'll be able to help you over email or over Zoom.
所有的学费账单都必须在12月14号之前完成。如果你遇到任何问题，请联系以下这个网址。
Additionally, all new students are required to submit their official documents. An example of official document could be your diploma or an official copy of your transcript. English translations are required for all of these documents, and they can be submitted over mail, email, or in person during orientation.
我们学校要求每一位新生都要提交他们的学术证明，这包含了你的成绩单，还有毕业证。所有证件都需要有英文显示。你可以通过邮件、寄件，还有个人提交等方式。
And then my final reminder is regarding testing. If you are an international year one or undergraduate transfer program student only, then you must complete the math placement test before orientation. You will get a link on how to complete this test sent to you over email. Additionally, if you are an academic English student, so once again, academic English students only, then there is a test that you will complete December 15th at 8 a.m. Eastern Time over Zoom with your academic advisor. It is very important that you complete these tests because we will be using the results to create your class schedule.
以下这2个测试是需要你在开学之前完成的。 这个测试结果将对你以后的分班非常重要。数学考试将只要求国际生第1年需要，然后还有本科生转专业的、转课程的学生需要提供数学测试结果。对于学术英语测试，必须在12月15号8点之前完成。你将会和你的学术辅导员通过 Zoom 见面。
And because we're talking about class schedules and academics, I also wanted to share a little bit of information about the Into Suffolk academic support that we offer. All students will be meeting your academic advisor during orientation, and you will be able to connect with them one-on-one throughout the year. Students will also be able to receive updates about their academic progress in their classes through our Early Alert program. Suffolk University also offers countless free tutoring and academic coaching services. So at any point, even if you're getting 100% in all your classes or you're not, we do recommend that you work with one of our academic tutors or coaches. Additionally, in your classes, you'll be able to take advantage of experiential opportunities. This means that you might have guest speakers or field trips off campus to learn more about your major and program. And lastly, for parents, you can request a grade report with permission from your student.
我们学校将会提供1对1学术辅导。在开学的期间，在入学期间，你会和你的学术辅导员见面，能够了解你更多的课程信息。如果你对你的上课所学的知识感到模糊，我们建议你去联系我们的专业辅导员，他会给你提供1对1辅导的。同样的，我们还会有很多机会，一些有经验的社会人士也会到我们的班上进行演讲，传授他们的经验。我们也会有成绩报告，你每一个学期结束之后，你可以 log in 你的校园网查看你的目前成绩，以确保自己所有成绩都在你的非常顺滑的方程。
And then my final reminder for all of our new students has to do with COVID-19 safety. So I just want to make sure that everyone is healthy and safe this upcoming semester, and our school prioritizes this as well. All of Suffolk University, faculty, staff, and students are required to be vaccinated for COVID-19. Additionally, we will have, as I mentioned earlier, testing that is free, available for students every week. And we encourage individuals to get tested and take advantage of that free testing. There might be quarantine requirements that could change throughout the year and semester. So we will provide updates if there are any new quarantine policies to be aware of. All updates from us will be sent to your university email account, so please make sure you're checking that every week. And lastly, all classes this spring semester will be face-to-face, so we will not offer online classes for our new students.
最后，我们要提醒的是，所有学生都必须完成 COVID-19 的疫苗。对于政府最新的隔离信息，我们将通过邮件通知，所以希望你们能够每周查阅你的邮件，以查看最新的隔离通知。春季的课程将要求面对面，没有在线选择。
I want to thank everyone for attending our presentation today. If you have any questions, you can follow us on social media, including Facebook and Instagram. And if you want to chat more with other students like Yin, you can join our TAB Ambassador program through the Access platform. So we are here to connect with you before you arrive, and we are excited to welcome you this January.
感谢各位参加我们的这次开学会。如果你想得到更多的信息，可以和我们的一些社会媒体得到联系，比如说 Facebook、Instagram。如果你想和像我一样的学生、师生、师姐联系的话，你可以通过 Chatline to Surface Student 这个软件来与我们取得联系。
Thank you again for joining us, and we hope to see you at our next webinar very soon. Goodbye, everyone.
再见。